Shalom. Give it a few moments to get started. All right. All praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rahak Akadash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom to you, Akim and Aqua. Also, you children that believe on this word. Shalom to the speckled bird that's scattered around the four corners of the globe. This is your brother Kalak Har. Come back at you with a little live lesson. And this is called the Pulpit. The Pulpit. And what inspired me to do this lesson was I was at work, and a patient resident, whatever you want to call them, they're playing a game on their phone. And one of those word search games where you drag the letter to the word to create a word. And he was stumped and he couldn't figure out what was the next word. So right when I walked in, I immediately knew it said pulpit, and told him it. And immediately he was like, whoa, I've been looking for that. Or I didn't even notice that. He was like, you must go to church or something. And being right there, I said, I need to do a lesson just on the pulpit itself and just bring out some scriptures dealing with it. You know, a pulpit is what a preacher in the harlot houses, they stand up like a podium, a wooden podium, stand up on it and give their sermon. Liken it to us, our sermon is out there on the highways and byways. We go out into preaching to the people that's on the highways and byways. We don't have to go into a building, so to speak, or be inside of a building where people are already, they already know the person, they already know the pastor, they go there every Sunday, Wednesday, whatever, according to the Christian church. But this is not what we've been told to do. We've been told to, because the church is the body, first and foremost. And when two and more of it is in my name, that is church, in a way, or what the scriptures say. I just saw something floating above me, and I don't know what it was. But anywho, just saw it again. Something floating around me. But hold on. Make sure my camera is clear. Yeah, we're good. But back to what I was saying about the ministry being outside. Two or more that comes in my name, that's just likened to church. So let me, still trying to figure out how to flip my screen. I'll figure that out, Lord willing. You know, so I can share my screen. But we're gonna get into some scriptures. I should be on the highways and byways doing this, but I have an appliance coming anytime soon, so I want to make sure I'm here for that because I need that appliance. Salakia. Let me check on it right now. 5 more stops. Cool. All right. Let's first get Nehemiah, the 8th chapter. I'm going to start at the first verse. Nehemiah 8:1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate, that spake unto Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. Now, all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street. Because when we go out and preach, we out there on the highways and byways. That's said in Luke 14:23. Matthew, we'll probably bring it out, Lord willing. But we're out there on the highways and byways. So this is Ezra getting the book of Moses, the commandments, and he's reading it to these people that's out on the street. I'm reading again, and all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate, and they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel, Yasharallah. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding upon the first day of the seventh month. So the first day of the seventh month, it was a Sabbath. It was a Sabbath day. In the seventh month, I believe, I don't want to be mistaken, I don't want to say something, but the ninth month is around, it's like a November, December through December type deal. Not sure. I need to brush up on my calendar and understand it a little bit more. Salakia, forgive me. Verse 3, Nehemiah 8:3. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from the morning until midday, before the men and the women and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. So he was out there from the morning to midday, meaning when the sun was rising, he woke up, did a little bit of things, and went out to teach on a Sabbath day until midday. And everybody was attentive, they would listen. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood which had made for the purpose, and beside him stood Mattithiah, Mathaniah, and Shema, and Ananiah, Uriah, and Hilkiah, and Maaseiah on his right hand, and on his left Pedaiah, and Mishael, and Malachi, pretty much, and Hasum, and Hashbadan Anna, and Zechariah, and Meshullam. And Ezra opened the book at the sight of all the people, for he was above all the people, and he opened it, and all the people stood. And Ezra blessed the Lord, great power, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, with lifting up their hands, and they bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord with their faces to the ground, because that's how you properly pray. When you go into, they outside, they together, but when you properly pray, you go into a closed door, and you bow your head to the ground, and you pray to the Lord. You say what you want. It's pursuant to Matthew 6. But the reason why I was looked at pulpit, see, he stood, Nehemiah 8:4, and Ezra, the scribe, stood upon a pulpit pit of wood, which they had made for the purpose. And beside him stood, the rest of the congregation. So that's what I'm talking about, that pulpit. Because the Lord, see all of these people following him and things like that. If we go to Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter, Jeremiah, the 3rd chapter, 15th verse, Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which will feed you with knowledge and understanding. Salakia. I'm going to read that again. Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And who are the pastors? Who's those apostles, those teachers that's out on the highways and byways and doing these videos day in and day out? but you need 100% truth, and the Lord is the only one that can unlock you to the 100% truth. You can't open the Bible and say, well, you know what, I'm gonna read it the way I want to, and I'm gonna interpret it the way I want to, and that's how I'm gonna get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Look, the Lord ain't dealing with that way. I'm gonna read it one more time. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So those pastors, like I said, is going to be out there on the highways and byways, starting with GMS, Apostle uh, Tahar, on down, Kabar, Arama, Rakah, the bishops of Connecticut, the brothers in New York. They get down for that crown. Your eyes should see thy teachers. So let's go uh, to back that up. If we go to Matthew 22, starting at the 9th verse. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid them to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. So when we out there on the highways and byways, you're supposed to invite whoever, because at the end of the day, according to Isaiah 34, if you're a prophet to the nations, you're teachers to the nations. So that means all the people that's around, anybody. That's why Proverbs 1, it say, go out, you on the chief of the concourse. And that concourse is the sidewalk, where the people, the marketplace, where the people come at, where the people are. You go out there and bid as many as you can. And the Lord is saying, look, I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So those people that stop by, listen, wants to get the 411 on what's going on with the Bible. They think they know the Bible. Maybe they spent some time in Bible school or something like that. Well, the real teachers are out there on the highways and byways. What's that? Malachi 3:16. I'm gonna start at 16. Malachi 3:16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before them for them that feared the Lord and bought and thought upon his name. What's the name of the Lord? It's Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. And they shall be mine, saint the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spares his own son that serveth him. Here's the point in verse 18. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not. So you're going to see the right teachers when you're out there. And according to the Lord, remember, I give you according to my heart. So the Lord is the one that's going to put you in front of the right teachers and get the right information. The Lord is going to do that. You have no power control of that. If the Lord wants you, the Lord wants you. If he don't, he don't. Many people are waxing colder and colder these days. They can't understand. They can't help. The truth is, this truth hurts. This truth hurts. So can't be in your feelings about it. It is what it is, and it's according to the Lord. So because you're gonna get this truth from every option, every way. Ephesians. I didn't want this to be long. I should be out on the highways and byways, but hopefully, Lord willing, the next couple of days I'll get out there and be able to do some things. This is Ephesians 4 and 11. Ephesians 4 and 11. And who's Ephesians to? It's to the Israelites that was in Ephesus, living in Ephesus. And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers. Now, when we go into pastor and preacher, that means to prophesy pretty much at the end of the day. Apostles mean sent away. Evangelist, if you look up the word evangelist, it goes hand in hand with a herald. Now, what does a herald do? A herald sends a message out. Let's get a quick precept on that. A herald, the evangelist preach in a public place, but now today they it's likened it to they harlot houses. The Lord calls those churches harlot houses. You committing spiritual fornication when you deal with those harlot houses. The Lord ain't dealing with that. When you're dealing with other stuff of the world, if you ain't calling on the names of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and you don't believe, this truth is become a damn menace to you. Especially if you're not part of the fold and you're calling on the name of the Lord, it's going to just be more torment to you, towards you. I'm going to start at Daniel 3. I think the point is in round 5. I'm going to start at 3 and 1. Because a herald, it sends a message. It's a messenger at the end of the day. They send out messages from the king. And the king tells the herald, go relay this message to the people. Now, we, as the men of the Lord has the angels setting up in our mind to putting the spirit on us to go out into the highways and byways and preach His word. Because there's nothing to do with us. We're just pretty much. I don't want to say this, but we're crash dummies at the end of the day. The Lord is using our vessels to lift up His name out here to these people, prophesying to these people the downfall of Babylon the Great and what's going to happen and how the Israelites are going to. Jacob is the Esau's the end of the road. Jacob is the beginning of that follow. These are prophecies that's coming to pass. That's going to come to pass, and we have been set up through the Lord to go out there and preach His word, to bring in the elect of the nation. Well, He's going to bring in the elect, but we are out here to plant that seed in the elect and wake. It's like a hitting that alarm for them. They in a good deep sleep. They sleeping hard. They dreaming about something else, and then ding 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 ding, that alarm goes off. And when that alarm goes off, they're going to repent. They're going to call on the righteous names. They're going to come back to the Heavenly Father before it's too late. Because as soon as that famine of the word comes, like in Amos 8 and 11, 8 and 11, I believe, to 13, when that famine of the word comes, that's when you know you're in hot water. Because you're not going to be able to hear the prophets. You're not going to be able to get on YouTube. You're not going to be able to see the prophets on the highways and byways. You're not going to get in if you wasn't paying attention, you wasn't studying, you wasn't trying to push this word, you wasn't believing, you was looking at this as entertainment. Well, the Lord gonna get you. He's gonna get you when you least suspect it. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So let me start at Daniel 3 and 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and beneath there 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. So here's the king Nebuchadnezzar setting up this golden image for people to worship. And he's gonna call these people, you gotta worship this. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, Daniel 3 and 2, the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar king has set up. So he said all you big towns, like today it would be you politicians, you elites, like Elon Musk's and the Facebook guy and the people that's higher up, Jeff Bezos, all the top chief police and the armies and all of this stuff. Y'all come here, come here. I want to show y'all something. Um, y'all come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. Then the princes and the governors and the captains and the judges and the treasurers and the counselors, the sheriffs and all the rulers of the province were gathered together into the dedication of the image of that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. They stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Here's the point. Then an herald cried out aloud, to you is to command, O people, nations, and language, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psalteries, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. So here's a herald. Remember, I told you a herald. Who we can get the etymology dictionary real quick. Wow, what happened? So like it was set 5 more stops. Now I went back to 6. What they doing? Etymology. Let's look up herald. Herald, noun, messenger, envoy. Uh, we can start right there. A messenger. Uh, as a verb, to sound the praise of. I don't really use that word these days. But a herald is a messenger to sound the praise of. So in this sense, this herald for Nebuchadnezzar the king, he told all these people to come, and he said, "Look, y'all gotta when you hear this sound of these instruments, that's when you gotta bow down and worship this golden image." And you can read it for yourself, but it goes into Daniel, Abednego. What was it? The three Shadrach, um, Meshach, Meshach. They're not worshiping the image, and they've been thrown in that hot pans and trying to put them on fire. Let's also go into the definition of evangelist. Um, Preacher of the gospel, literally bringer of good news, bring good news from a messenger. And we know angel means messenger. We know angel means messenger. So we're likened to the angel of the Lord that's down here in the physical form, because he got the angels in the he has angels in the spiritual form, Salakia, that does the work too. Now he got angels down here. Remember the scriptures say, don't forget to entertain strangers. Um, what's that scripture? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hebrews 13:2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So when you're out there on the highways and byways, don't don't forget to entertain strangers, because you never know who the Lord is sending out there. So first of all, you got to be meek, you got to be humble, humility, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us don't pass some strangers that was angels out there on the highways and byways. You never know. This is Isaiah 30:20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, ye shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but your eyes shall see thy teachers. Your eyes shall see thy teachers. You're going to know who the righteous ones. Remember Malachi 3 and 16. You're going to discern for the right ones and the good ones. Because many camps are out there on the highways and byways and preaching the name of the Lord. Many prophets have gone out there, false prophets, false teachers that are among the flock. What's that in Ezekiel? I want to say 13th, maybe 18th chapter. You're going to be accounted for, especially if you're false teaching. You're going to be accounted for having those false teachers, being a false teacher at the end of the day. That's why we're watching out for this stuff. We're watching for the nation of Israel. Let's get one more, 2 Timothy, and then we can close it out. I didn't want this to be too long and prolong it, but the pulpit, like I said, what inspired me to do this lesson. 2 Timothy, is it 2? 2 Timothy 2, let me start at the second verse. I'm going to 5. So like, give me a moment. Bear with me. Second Timothy 2 and verse 2. 2. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. No man that warrant entangled himself with the affairs of this life, he may please him who has chosen him to be a soldier. And if any man strive masteries, yet he not crowned, except he strives lawful. So like, yeah, I don't think that's not what I wanted. The first Timothy. Hold on. It was 2 Timothy 4 and 5. Salakia. Okay, 2 Timothy 4. Salakia for that. And 5. 4. Let me start at the second verse. 2 Timothy 4. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itchy ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables. Here's the point. But watch thou in all things, endure affliction, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. So you got to do the work. And where's the work? The work is out there on the highways and byways. This pulpit of ours is the concourse, the streets. We go into the streets and teach. We also do videos online and things like that. Yeah, it's all good and dandy. But our main goal is to get out there on the highways and byways and bid as many as we can for the marriage, good and bad. You are a prophet to the nations, according to Isaiah the 34th chapter, starting at the first verse. You are a watchman for Israel. You go out there and watch. You pray, you prophesy, you report on everything you're doing. You make these epistles. It's like into these videos. So I just wanted to bring that out because, like I said, he said, "Are you in church? Do you go to church?" And that, hey, got to do it. That's my next lesson. So I hope you was edified. I hope you got something out of this. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rahakakadash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom to you, Akim and Aqua, also you children that believe on this word. Shalom to the speckled bird that's scattered around the four corners of the globe. This is your brother Kalak Haas signing off. Hope to see you on the next video. Lord willing, keep up the faith, keep up the fight. You gotta go. You gotta keep enduring. You gotta go. You gotta all the afflictions that the Lord is putting on you. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep doing it. All right, shalom.